Good evening. Good evening and welcome back to Radio 104.3 Yokrazia FM. I am Trojanik and tonight I am filling in for my friend Vladimir. And tonight we have a special guest with us. A special guest all the way from England. In fact, where are you from?
Well, I am from, originally I am from London, which is where I spent most of my time growing up. And then when the opportunity came up for a great job as a dustman up in York, that's where I went. So right now I am working in York and living in York, continuing the great tradition of being a dustman, as my old man was a dustman and his old man before him.
Well, this is very, very commendable. And your name is Yobbo, and tonight you have brought with you an original poem that you would like to recite on Yokrazian radio.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I thought maybe the Yokrazian people, being as wonderful as they were, they wouldn't be quite as critical of anything I put out there, because, you know, I am a dustman, I'm not a poet, and I thought, well, maybe in Yokrazia I could get away with, you know, saying it without being laughed at.
Well, I can guarantee you I will not laugh at your poetry, and I can guarantee you none of our callers or our listeners, they will laugh at it either. So, Yobbo from York, please go ahead and tell your poem.
Well, this poem is something I writ on my coffee break while I was on the lorry, on the old rubbish lorry, right? You know, old Stumpy and Stinky Pants, they went in for a coffee, and I stayed in the lorry, and I wrote this. I call it The Battle of 1623. Right, now you promise not to laugh at me, right?
I will not laugh.
Here we go. The Battle of 1623. Yellow sun, green grass, autumn leaves of golden brown. The ground shakes as death approaches, the reaper announcing his triumphant return to the lives of men. The crisp bite of the fall air does nothing to dispel the thick choking feeling of impending bloodlust. Silver demons on the backs of Satan's horses bring forth the commencement of a ritualistic game of life and death, a tradition that will undoubtedly see the end of existence for many who imbibe into rampant fervour. The sound of thundering hooves meanders through the otherwise silent air. Metal on metal lends its ear to anticipation. The battle has begun, a melee that's been acted out in the minds of combatants throughout the turns of history. Man's undying passion for violence underlies the weak fabric of justification for such endeavours. A deathly scream, sharpened steel coated with a crimson red, another soul is banished from this earthly realm. The eyes of knights and soldiers grow cold with the passion of victory, objectifying the very lives they summarily dismiss from their own reality. But nothing is real on this field. Every blade that penetrates the life of another is a mirror image burned into the mind of he who wields the weapon. The battle for survival becomes the focus within a paradigm of Gestalt mentality. Another life distinguished, bodies felled, wounds staining the surrounding grass and toiled mud. The lines of battle become blurred, confusion ensues, friends become enemies, and colours blend into one another. Fear and shock consume the obvious. This battle has assumed the shape of a new animal, a creature of light and dark, an entity of clarity and shadows. Half lay dead, the victims of greed, their reticent bodies ravished by an acceptable insanity. Ambiguity gives way to lucidity, the final conclusion becoming obvious. The battle is decided. There may be conquest, but to the victors the spoils are intertwined with anguish. The blood of loved ones lies spilled at the feet of both aggressors and defenders. The kingdom has been spared, but at the cost of many, the sun reflecting off their Judas-like armour. A bird screams in the distance, a fox eddies around the perimeter. The king surveys the damage and raises his sword in final victory. A mighty feast will be in order tonight. The dead will be remembered, and those still alive will be honoured, while the minds of war surreptitiously outline subsequent aggressions. Heartbroken and distraught, The wires of the dead walk aimlessly through the night, the pale moon laughing at their grief. Children with no fathers look to their mothers with tears and confusion in their eyes. This evening is a paradox, a juxtaposition of ecstasy and great pain. But it will not end here. Where there are men of power, violence will follow shortly behind. Today was but one battle. Today was the battle of 1623.
That was very, very good. Very, very good. It was very dustmanny.
Oh, bloody hell. I knew you'd laugh at me. I knew it. I absolutely knew it. That's it. I'm out of here. Forget this. I'm just adding.
Well, it would seem that our friend Yobbo from York is leaving the studio. Apparently people from York are very, very sensitive. I did not mean anything insulting by the word dustmany. It is a terminology, a term of endearment, I thought. Anyway, you're listening to 104.3 Yokrazia FM. I am Trojanik, filling in for Vladimir, and we'll be right back after these messages.